Huh. So far away, Lucas. Carnage.
Yeah, he's just red Venom, right?
I think so. Let's find out. Ooh, let's make the screen red for this one. Right, so far away, Lucas, as you often do. You know what, I'm tired of saying that. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about Cletus Cassidy from Earth 616.
Yes, who I believe is Carnage in his current incarnation, unless I'm very much mistaken. Oh, Cletus Cassidy is no longer Carnage, he is Dark Carnage.
And I thought, Spawn was edgy.
Oh, God. Oh, you can just feel Todd McFarlane's greasy fingers all over this one, can't you? Anyway, so I guess, for people who don't know, Cletus Cassidy, you can find a link to the wiki we're reading from below, but without further ado, Cletus Cassidy, Dark Carnage. Real name, Cletus Cortland Cassidy. Current alias, Dark Carnage. I don't even want to know why he's called Dark Carnage, because I'm already bored.
Yeah, and I just thought, Carnage was a really cool idea of, it's what happened if, Venom wasn't black, he was red, but also if the host was a complete psychopath rather than a normal human being.
Well, that's the interesting dynamic between, Spider-Man and Venom, isn't it? Venom is what happens when Spider-Man's morals get corrupted and turned on their head.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when Spider-Man gets infected by the symbiote, and it makes him more aggressive, it makes him dangerous. It makes him more effective, but, in that ruthless way where Spider-Man doesn't like that, he loses control. And then Venom is like Eddie Brock, and it represents, just his feelings of inadequacy. Carnage is what happens when you give a complete sociopath Spider-Man's powers. And the answer is it's terrifying, but now apparently he's Dark Carnage. And I'm not sure about you, Lucas, but I'm just so bored of Edge.
Yeah, I really am.
I cannot express how fucking bored I am with Edge. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work anymore, and the fact that we're still dealing with it. But without further ado, pads and pencils at the ready, folks at home, for your aliases, aka band names. So we have here Carnage, the 999th, Amazing Carnage, the Apostle of Null, the Bleeding King, Carnage Man, Cleavon Cassidy, Corruptor, Dark Carnage, Mass Carnage, the Gore Emperor, Prophet of the Void, Red Messiah, the Red Slayer, the Symbiote of Vengeance, your friendly neighborhood Carnage, and Eddie Brock.
Your friendly neighborhood Carnage. I like it.
And you know what? Some of them are good, but they remind me of death metal names as opposed to power metal band names.
Yeah.
So they sound cool, but just from that name, that is just going to sound like the musical equivalent of sludge in your ears. There's not going to be no melodies or guitar solos in music played by Corruptor or Dark Carnage.
You're not going to be able to hear the lyrics in that song, no.
No, it's not going to be like Children of Bodom where they do sick guitar solos on top of it. It's like... Then we have editorial names, Absolute Carnage, Prophet of the Void. Formerly, Maximum Carnage, Minimum Carnage, and Poison Carnage.
Minimum Carnage.
Minimum Carnage is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
We have a quote here from Cletus Cassidy as Carnage. I was hollowed out inside, empty, just like my other. We were both sick because we were incomplete, but not anymore. We healed each other, made each other whole. Neither one of us can survive without the other. Forget host, forget symbiote. There is only Carnage. And I think one of the few interesting things about the idea of Carnage is that he likes being bonded with the symbiote. Cletus Cassidy fucking loves the symbiote because it gives him so much power. And the symbiote, in turn, loves being bonded to Cletus Cassidy because it allows it to just murder people without any sort of reservation.
Yeah, it's not like with Eddie Brock with Venom, where it is a symbiotic relationship and they end up learning to work together. Cletus Cassidy just lets Carnage do whatever the fuck he wants.
It's like, I'm on death row as it is anyway. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Well, you kind of got to respect that approach to it happening. It's like, I'm going to be fucking dead in 3 weeks anyway. Who gives a shit? And then we have here just a descriptor of Cletus Cassidy's personality. That's the thing, though. Despite us clicking on Cletus Cassidy, it's not telling us anything about the man, just the symbiote that infects him. So, having his bloodline tainted by a distant ancestor, Cletus Cassidy was destined to be a nihilistic yet also gleefully sadistic and ruthless sociopath with an insatiable bloodlust, ostensibly stemming from a vision he had of the dark elder god Null when he was an infant. Cassidy delights in wanton bloodshed and worships the ideal of chaos through random acts of violence, believing that law and order are meaningless constructs, and that by killing others, he is freeing them. Carnage is a loner, and by any alliances he makes are short-lived at best, usually ending him turning on his allies in order to kill them. Why would you ever team up with him if you knew this? Because that's a story that works once.
Yeah.
The first time Carnage immediately turns on all his allies, he's never going to get anyone to help him again. Lucas, any thoughts on anything we just discussed other than just, oh, that's the sucking sentence about Carnage, all right?
Yeah, I'm a bit let down that they've taken this path with him, because I really enjoyed like Carnage when I was, a kid and watching like the 90s Spider-Man cartoons and stuff like that and playing like the old PlayStation games with Carnage in that. I thought like, yeah, Venom, but he's completely unhinged. That's a really cool idea. And this is just kind of like, no.
Yeah. And we move swiftly on to the powers and abilities section, which people who don't know is a ranking system of 1 to 7, 7 being nigh godlike, and 1 being an average human in that specific regard. And everything seems to be in order for Carnage, except for strength, which is a 6. Which is bordering on one of the strongest characters in, like, at least on Earth, like, with the exception of like, things like the Hulk. So I want to know what's going on there. So powers. Prior to its death, the Carnage symbiote provided Cletus Cassidy with a broad array of powers, some of which have stemmed from its progenitor and been bonded with Spider-Man. Even without symbiote, Cletus is still considered very dangerous, as his antisocial personality disorder and his obsession with chaos make him impossible to reason with. He has no trouble killing with no motive. As a result of being bonded with the symbiote and his sociopathy, he is also immune to Ghost Rider's penance stare, and that is interesting. We have here primordial symbiotic costume. After the death of the original Carnage symbiote, Cletus Cassidy was bonded with an offshoot of the primordial Grendel symbiote by a cult dedicated to worshipping the Dark Elder God Null.
What was that sentence, Karl? What?
That was a sentence from a fucking dark metal album. After absorbing more codices and strengthening his connection to Null, Carnage manifested the Elder God's spiral sigil on its forehead. This sounds like Dante's Inferno. Fucking hell. Even in this incomplete state, Dark Carnage's connection to the Canuthon through the curse of the Darkhold and Null through the Carnageized Grendel symbiote. What is this sentence I'm reading? This effectively made him a demigod possessing power far beyond a regular symbiote. After assimilating even more codices and even the Venom symbiote, Cletus restored the symbiotes. I'm going to keep saying symbiote or symbiote. I can't remember what the joke one is that I made in that one video. Cletus restored the symbiote's full godly power and manifested black draconic horns, black pauldrons, and arm wraps resembling nulls, and became able to transform his now pointed back protrusions into draconic wings.
Dear God.
Like, it's just so boring. Because if there's someone out there who thinks this looks cool, fuck you, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not cool. It's boring. It's so boring.
We all lived in the 90s, Karl, but like the fact that they're doing this now, in modern day, when like I think it's fairly established that we don't really want shit like this anymore, I would have assumed.
Nobody likes Edge, but it says here, Lucas, this is a sentence. Are you ready? Being bonded to the Carnageized Grendel symbiote grants Cletus the following powers. Superhuman strength. As Dark Carnage, Cletus' strength surpasses that of even the Hulk and Juggernaut.
What?
The Hulk being the physically strongest being in all of Marvel. Joe, why Lucas? Because Edge. Because that's the thing that I hate about Edge. It can never be nuanced. It can never have any like shades of grey to it. It's always, no, you are the coolest and the strongest and everybody is scared of you. You're the toughest, baddest motherfucker on the planet. Nobody beats you. And that's why it's boring, because there's no challenge.
You can't live on the edge if you don't push it to the limit.
Fucking hell, that's a lyric right there. That's the thing, it's like, he can't just be strong, he's got to be stronger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
And that's why Edge is so boring. It's like, oh man, Shadow's so fucking cool. Like, he can run faster than Sonic. It's like, can't he just be fast? It'd be more interesting if he was just a little bit fast. No, he's got to be the fastest and the coolest.
No, I am the ultimate life form.
You're not the ultimate life form, are you? You've got to use a fucking gun. Anyway, constituent matter generation. Cassidy can generate tentacle-like appendages from various parts of his bodies, which he uses in combat situations or to restrain those that he wishes to kill. That's like a neat thing, like, you know, you can't just have like cool tentacles. Like, no, he beats the Hulk. Shape-shifting. Carnage is capable of altering his appearance at will, using this to assume his non-undead appearance, as well as impersonate Eddie Brock in order to kill someone. After absorbing venom, he was able to manifest draconic wings. Like, why does he need wings? It's so much more awesome if he uses web swinging. Web swinging is so much cooler than flying.
Yeah, because the visual of just, oh, it's Spider-Man, but he's like a giant goo monster with tendrils exploding out of him while he swings around New York. It's like, yeah.
Symbiotic expansion and psychic control. Karl is able to infect and enslave others with symbiote-infected maggots that he called brainworms.
Okay.
I'm just like doing that, like just Jim Halperting towards the camera of like, yep, that's and that's the thing as well. None of this is cool. None of this is interesting. None of this is fun. It's so fucking boring, and I hate that when that happens on a Wiki Weekends.
Yeah, because I was really excited to talk about just normal Carnage, and then it's like, no, it's dark, draconic, winged Carnage. It's like, great.
And the next one, I should have seen it coming. And Lucas, I'm just going to like get you to guess right now. If you were a hack writer writing Carnage comics and you want to make him even edgier, what hero's power would you give him to make him edgier than, like, you know, a screaming mass of blood and tentacles?
A hero.
Give you a clue. Yeah, I'll give you a clue. Fire.
Oh, Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider, yeah. It says here, after consuming Alexandra Jones's spine, Carnage was temporarily imbued with the power of the spirit of vengeance.
Like, the thing is, I don't care about that, but I do want to know what that looks like, because the idea of Carnage Ghost Rider...
Do you know what I bet it looked like? I bet it looked like a fucking album cover, but it's an album that I'm not going to listen to. When asked on Twitter if Dark Carnage's fifth form had a unique name, Ryan Stegman coined Devil Carnage.
Oh, no. Why?
Next time, can we just talk about, like, Electro or something? Or Shocker? Just a, or Stiltman. Just a character.
I can't wait for when it turns out it's, like, dark, demonic Electro now, Karl.
Just Electro with devil horns.